The world used to be like this. Beautiful. Unpolluted. Safe and sound. Clean environment. Healthy nature. Until Hi. I am Julius Amazon. Today, we are going to learn about the air pollution and climate change. The world is reaching the tipping point beyond which climate change may become irreversible. The human activities affects the Earth, in which the weather, climate and environment are at stake. One cause of climate change is the air pollution. It is the presence of substances in the atmosphere that are harmful to the health of humans and other living beings, or cause damage to the climate. The air pollution is described as either primary or secondary pollutants. Primary pollutants refers the pollutants that are put directly into the air by humans or natural sources. Gas, cars, soot from smoke, dust storms and ash from volcanic eruptions are examples of primary pollutants. While secondary pollutants refers to pollutants that are made from chemical reactions with pollutants mixed with other primary pollutants or like water vapor. There are many problems caused by air pollution, and one of it is the human-made air pollution that comes from many things. One example of pollution made by humans today is because of transportations. Most of the large cities tend to have more air pollution because it is where emissions from any different sources are concentrated. Air pollution is usually thought of as smoke from large factories or from vehicles. But there are many types of indoor air pollution as well. In our home, burning substances such as kerosene, wood and coal can contaminate the air inside the house. Air pollution is a threat to every human lives as it causes diseases, allergies and as well as death to humans. Not just humans, but it also causes harm to other living organisms such as animals and food crops, and also can damage the natural environment. Air pollution is a risk factor which causes large number of pollution-related diseases, including respiratory infections, heart disease, stroke and lung cancer. Like people, animals and plants can suffer effects from air pollution. The air pollutants can poison wildlife. When animals inhale polluted gases, they suffocated and worst, they'll die. It also have a negative impact on plant growth when plant leaves absorb the air pollutants. But how does air pollution affect climate change? Or how are they related to each other? Climate change is defined as a change in the average conditions such as the temperature and rainfall in a region over a long period of time. From shifting weather patterns, rising sea levels, melting ice, flooding in some areas and desertification, it is somewhat the negative impact of climate change. Emissions of pollutants into the air can result in changes to the climate. Ozone in the atmosphere warms the climate, while different components of particulate matter can have either warming or cooling effects on the climate. Air pollution and climate change are closely related to each other. Air pollution is also driving the climate change, the main cause of CO2 emissions. Many air pollutants contribute to climate change, and black carbon and methane are the top contributors to global warming. Black carbon, also known as soot, is a component of fine particulate matter. Particulate matter is the air pollutant that is most harmful to human health, and the primary driver of air pollutant-induced mortality. And methane, which does not have any direct human health effects in the sense that inhaling typical ambient concentrations of methane is not harmful to human health. However, methane has a very important indirect human health impact, because it is a precursor to ground-level ozone, O3, also known as tropospheric ozone, which causes asthma and other respiratory diseases. Climate change is not only an environmental phenomenon, its negative impacts have social and economic consequences too. For its part, air pollution is the presence, in the air, of substances or particles that imply danger, damage or disturbance for humans, flora or fauna. There are ways to prevent, control and eventually reduce air pollution. Renewable fuel and clean energy production. The most basic solution for air pollution is to move away from fossil fuels, replacing them with alternative energies like solar, wind and geothermal. Energy conservation and efficiency. Producing clean energy is crucial. But equally important is to reduce our consumption of energy by adopting responsible habits and using more efficient devices. Eco-friendly transportation, shifting to electric vehicles and hydrogen vehicles, and promoting shared mobility, example, carpooling, and public transports, could reduce air pollution. Green building, from planning to demolition, green building aims to create environmentally responsible and resource-efficient structures to reduce their carbon footprint. Because we are already committed to some level of climate change, responding to climate change involves a two-pronged approach according to National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Reducing emissions of and stabilizing the levels of heat-trapping greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Mitigation, adapting to the climate change already in the pipeline. Adaptation. Mitigation, reducing climate change, involves reducing the flow of heat-trapping greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, either by reducing sources of these gases, for example, the burning of fossil fuels for electricity, heat or transport, or enhancing the sinks that accumulate and store these gases, such as the oceans, forests and soil. The goal of mitigation is to avoid significant human interference with the climate system, and stabilize greenhouse gas levels in a time frame sufficient to allow ecosystems to adapt naturally to climate change, ensure that food production is not threatened and to enable economic development to proceed in a sustainable manner. Adaptation, adapting to life in a changing climate, involves adjusting to actual or expected future climate. The goal is to reduce our vulnerability to the harmful effects of climate change. It also encompasses making the most of any potential beneficial opportunities associated with climate change. In order to lessen the negative impact of air pollution and climate change, let us consider ourselves as the last generation with a real opportunity to save the world. Our environment are facing innumerable threats over the years, getting more sicker. It's time for us to pay back what we ruined. Be part of the solution, not part of the pollution.